Hi everybody, so I have two layouts to share in this video, and this is my Cruella one. And I started this page by printing off the background because I wanted to get the house where the puppies were, Cruella's house, in the background there. And I didn't feel like drawing that. So I started with that, and then I've added like my own die cut trees and stuff to it. I printed out this fire and then used my Cricut to get the kind of iron gate look. Same with this right here. And Cruella I drew and used alcohol markers to color her in, and I tried to get like the reflection of the fire on her. Same with Horace and Jasper. So you can see I lit him up at the side, not with real lights, just with coloring it. I printed the newspapers. They're quite thick. They're folded over, so they're 3D. And then I added this little flourish. This is my favorite little die cut that I had. I just added little flowers when I made into a Dalmatian. And then, oh, this was super fun on my Cricut. It's so thin, cutting out Cruella de Vil, and then I cut that out separate, the evil part. And then we have the Colonel and Sergeant Tibbs. I added like little puppy footprints to the snow that I added to the page. And then we have Horace and Jasper. Pretty simple page for me. And then we have Tower of Terror. I don't know if I've shared this before. I have like 50 new layouts, so I'm not sure where I stopped off. I shouldn't leave it so long making videos, like a year or two in between. But this is the Tower of Terror one. If I shared it before, sorry, maybe you're new and seeing it for the first time. I apologize if it's the second time. But with this page, I started off by printing the Tower of Terror, and then I went over it with pencil crayons and with ink, and I used white pigment ink to add that, and then I added the lightning to it. Cut out a moon. I cut out the palm trees with my Cricut, and then I hand drew Mickey and Goofy there. And then these are the photo mats. So it's supposed to look like you're inside an elevator. We go on this ride an awful lot. So I'm probably actually going to print 4x4 photos of all the times we've been on it and add it to the back, so that way I can get 12 photos on the back of this. And my kids know to look. Sometimes I'll add photos to the back of layouts. And then this page, it says once in a lifetime, right below the Twilight Zone there, that I used my Cricut for both those titles. And it's because my husband got to go on the Tower of Terror all by himself. It was the end of the night. We had to do a child swap because my daughter did not want to go on it again. And I'm so happy I went first because I got to go with my son, and because I didn't want to do it alone. And my husband loved it, but it would have been really creepy, you know, before you go to the elevators, when you're like looking at all this stuff. I would have been totally creeped out by myself. So he had a ball. It's an awesome picture. He's sitting right in the middle, hands up, big smile. It was awesome. So this is going to be a big 5x7 of that. And for the background here, I drew like the swirl and I added all the lightning. I used the transparency paper to draw, like that's the mom and dad there. I got the little girl here. We got a bellhop and the nanny. And then I printed out like the window and the clock, the door and the eyeball. And then I drew Pluto and Donald. And then we have more room for photos right there. I really like this page. It's simple, but I think it's going to look awesome with pictures when I eventually get them in there. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.